What day is it?
I know the days are just like combining together for me lately.
Flying. I
Yeah,
cannot believe it's April already.
right?
I feel like I just said Happy New Year to everyone, and it's
I know.
already past the first quarter.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Craziness,
Crazy.
craziness, craziness. Okay, so in the meantime, I am here with my web designer, Teresa, who is fabulous. She could be your web designer too. I love this topic because we've been recently working on my website and dealing with testimonials, right? So
Honestly, it was the work on your website that kind of inspired this because so many people don't know what to do with testimonials. And it's one of those, it's a simple thing, but we don't know what to do. So we procrastinate, we ignore it, and we're losing out on some really incredible golden nuggets that are going to help boost our business because nothing is going to promote you better than somebody else saying how amazing you are.
you know what's coming to mind though when you're speaking? It's like, okay, but we were holding out. Like, there's two of my clients who haven't submitted their testimonials yet, who have said to me, I'm giving you a testimonial. And like, the tendency is like, oh, let me wait until those come in. But we decided, no, let's just go forward because next round of revisions, we'll put them in there.
We'll put them in there. Absolutely. So I wanted to kind of get rid of some of the myths or some of the confusion around testimonials today and really talk about how you can utilize them to boost your business and to improve the overall visibility of your website.
All
So
right, let's get going. How many tips do you have?
I was 7, so I'm going to go over 7. We're going to try and go over them as quick as possible, but the blog is detailed, so you might want to check out the blog this week.
Okay, I was going to say I got my pen out, but then I'm thinking I'll just go click on the blog that you wrote. It's in the description, everybody, so you can go check it out. So, all right, tip number 1.
Okay, so the first question that I get a lot of times is, well, how do I get testimonials? And a lot of us have this romantic idea that perfect testimonials are going to appear in our inbox like the gods have blessed us. And while we do get some, that does happen on occasion, you got to ask for testimonials. You have to ask for testimonials. And so that is what I'm going to tell you, first of all, is get out there and ask. And don't be afraid to ask. Most people, they want to give you a testimonial, but they don't think about it sometimes. And when you send them an opportunity, they immediately respond and they go out and they give you that testimonial that you're looking for.
Okay, and I don't know if it overlaps with one of your future tips, so tell me to shut up if you need to. But one of the other things that I always tell all my coaching clients is testimonials can come in at any time in any version. Like, people will Voxer me or text you possibly that says,
Yes.
oh my God, thank you so much. This has made such a difference in my life or in whatever you do for a living. That is a testimonial. All you have to do is shoot back like, thank you so much. Can I use this as a testimonial on my social media and website? And boom, you don't have to wait till the end when you're asking.
No, and that's a great point, and it overlaps with multiple points that we're going to talk about. But don't be afraid to ask, and don't be afraid to ask for what you're looking for. I love it when people say, Teresa, you're so amazing, thank you, but I want to know why I'm amazing. I want to know what I did to make their life better. I want to know that, like in the case with you and your clients, so many people talk about how they've gained confidence, how they've maximized their profitability. I mean, like, they really utilize those words. Like, I am so much more profitable after working with Nancy. I'm so much more confident when I go. Those are power key words. And we ask people specifically for that kind of information on your team. So
Yes.
ask them what you're looking for. You know, what made you happy working with me? How did I exceed expectations? Get some really clear questions out there to kind of inspire what you're looking for in a testimonial and give them that opportunity. And the other thing too is, I would say, be personal. Ask them, but don't send some generic form. There's a lot of companies that send that generic form, and they might, but a lot of times people don't. Be personal about it because you want the personal response in return.
Yes, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Okay, so here's another question that I get a lot of why people hesitate actually in sharing testimonials is, I have to share the name of the testimonial. But you don't. There's ways that you can do this. You don't have to give a full name. You can share initials. You can share first name only. You can share first name and last initial or something like that. Like, you don't have to share the whole name. You want the name in your records, but you don't have to put that out there publicly. And
Right.
if you're working, like as a coach, if you're working with some really sensitive situations, you probably don't want to share names because it is a conflict there. And as a coach in the past, like I didn't want to share names because I didn't want to give away my clients' struggles and their journey. Like that's their story.
I always ask their permission. Do you want us to use your name or would you rather us not? And I'll add one thing to that. If you're a local business and you do not have permission to use their name, you can put initials and the town that they live in, because that's going to help
Absolutely.
with the SEO also, correct?
Absolutely. So using their initials only, like I said, and adding the town, and ask them what they prefer. That's exactly one of the points too. Ask them, but you don't have to use the whole name. That 100% transparency doesn't have to compromise the relationship with your clients.
Great advice. Great advice. Yep. Okay.
So number 3, how much can I edit a testimonial? And so now that's a big question because, we
Yep.
want to maintain our integrity. We don't want to alter our testimonials in a way that is deceitful or manipulative, but we've all gotten testimonials that may need a little bit of tweaking. They may need adjustments. And so the best rule of thumb is that if you're making changes for clarity and relevance, then it's an acceptable change. So, for example, correcting spelling, grammar, punctuation, those little minor typos that we all do on a daily basis, fix those. It's okay. It's not going to be a big deal.
Right.
A minor adjustment for clarity's sake would be, for example, if somebody gave you a testimonial about the PIID group, using those initials, right?
What is PIID? Right.
Exactly. So in brackets or in parentheses behind the initials, spell it out. Add in
Profit Insiders for
insiders for
interior
interior
design
designers.
group coaching program. No, you can either spell it out and
Yep.
get rid of the initials. I
Yep.
don't think anyone's going to have a problem with that. Or you can
Right.
just put in parentheses for clarity.
Exactly. So go ahead and make those changes. Pronouns is another one. If when somebody sends you those boxers or whatever and says, "You are so wonderful because you helped me accomplish whatever," change it to "Nancy is so wonderful because she helped me accomplish this." Like go ahead and make those changes because it gives clarity to the testimonial without becoming deceitful or manipulative.
Yeah, I love that actually. You can change it if it helps with clarity or relevance.
Yes.
Great words. Do you talk about shortening it in any way?
Yes, and that was the other thing too, is feel free to shorten it. That's the next tip is I have some really long testimonials. Those are great. I love really long testimonials because a lot of times you can take 3 or 4 juicy little tidbits out of that testimonial and sprinkle it throughout all of your marketing materials.
That's so true.
Still use the full one on your testimonial page if you have one, but go ahead and shorten it and take out the juicy tidbits because the long one is really a personal letter to you.
Yes, some of them are so long and I love them, but if
Absolutely.
someone was to see them on my website, they would never read that far.
Mm-mm. They're not going to read the long one. So take out the juicy tidbits and shorten those testimonials to utilize them for you.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, so then number 5, where should I share testimonials on my website? And my answer is pretty much everywhere, but usually you want to include some strategy. So like working through your page, we're working on a refresh for your website right now. And Pamela and I have really done a lot of work about the strategy and placement of the testimonials. What's the overall theme of the page? What are we wanting to, what message are we trying to convey? What feeling are we trying to inspire? And what testimonials support that on the page? And so that's kind of the strategic aspect of that, is to really think about what testimonial is going to support.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. It's hard sometimes because one testimonial may feel like it should go on multiple pages.
Yeah.
But you got to make a decision, right?
Got to make a decision. So where is it going to be the most powerful?
Mm-hmm.
Where is it going to have the most bang for your buck? Where is it going to get the most visibility? So there is a strategy involved in testimonials. I mean, you can obviously you can just sprinkle them in there and look at it later. But when you're really wanting to create a website that converts, that gets people clicking on that consult button, clicking on the discovery call, you want to feed that website with pieces that are going to help them do that.
Yeah, and I think this is key because most people, especially those who do their own website in the first round because they're new businesses,
Absolutely.
they put all their testimonials on one page.
Yep.
And I'm like, you know what? That testimonial, like you're saying, would do really well on your homepage to catch the attention of the pain point of what most people are coming to you for. And then on another page, on your services page, you may be able to throw on another one about a specific service model. So really looking and reading and thinking the planning part instead of rushing through it like most of us do.
Right.
And Teresa slows you down and says, hold on. Think about it before you just throw it there. That's the key to having a good web designer. Someone who says, okay, let's slow down because I know I want it live. I want it live. And you're just like throwing spaghetti at it instead of thinking it through.
And thinking it through. And you don't even have to have that big, long testimonial page necessarily. There's actually a debate in the web design world. Some people think that they're a waste of space. Some people think you need them. And I say it's really up to you. I like words of affirmation as part of one of my love languages. And so I like having my testimonial page because it makes me feel good, honestly. I'm not, but when you sprinkle them in throughout the site, if it's not a big deal to you, you don't even necessarily need to have that page.
I get that. I get that. I like that.
Okay, so number 6, and we talked about this a little bit, but do I need a testimonial release or consent? And yes, you do. So a lot of people think they don't necessarily need to have one, but one of the things that people don't recognize or realize is that testimonials, reviews, endorsements are governed by the truth in advertising laws.
Interesting.
So it's not a huge deal if you don't have that consent, but I would get consent because, for example, if all of a sudden a client, for whatever reason, become disgruntled and they want to retract that testimonial, the fact that you had written consent from them is going to save you from potential issues in the.
Okay, wait, hold on. I need to dig into this. So if someone emails me and says, thank you so much, Nancy, because of you, blah, blah, blah. Isn't that considered consent? They email.
Ask them, may I use this as a testimonial?
Okay.
It doesn't have to be a formal form. It doesn't have to be anything, complicated. It can be, thank you so, like you said earlier, thank you so much. Can I use this as a testimonial? That email exchange is consent.
Well, I do that when it's going to be a message that's coming to me through Facebook Messenger or through my Voxer, my walkie-talkie app with my clients. I always shoot back, do I have permission? But if someone emails me and in the subject line it says testimonial,
I would count that as consent because they clearly identified it as a testimonial.
Gotcha. But if they don't, if they just send you a message that says, just like in Facebook Messenger says, this is so great. I did this because of you. Thank you so much. Can I use this as a testimonial in my marketing materials? And I would say marketing materials because I have watched people get angry. I said you could use it in printed, but not online or whatever. I mean, they start splitting hairs at this point. Yeah, but it's a good point because some people don't want their clients to eventually see. So like in my case, I'll do video interviews with some of my clients and I'll do it in the private group, but I won't stream live on YouTube because I don't want their clients to see. Or I ask, do you mind if we stream this live everywhere? And they're like, no, spread it out,
Right, exactly. Getting that consent and written consent. And so that way, again, in the future, if they decide to retract, you have that previous permission to have that testimonial out there. Now, if they do retract, be a classy person and just take the testimonial down. Save yourself the headache later on. I mean, that's, definitely. And for the most part, I doubt people are going to retract.
It's rare, but listen, you're in charge of telling us the best practices. And, I always look at it like my accountant tells me my best accounting practices. And I decide to do them or not do them. It's based on the knowledge he's given me. Right? So, and that's all we can do is give people
Exactly.
the advice based on legality
Exactly.
and best practices. And then as the CEOs of your own businesses, you're deciding what you put in place, when you put it in place, right?
Yep.
And you're welcome, Samuel. He said, thanks for all the positive posts and helpful info.
Oh, you're so welcome.
You're welcome. Okay, so what number were we up to?
Okay, now we're up to number 7 now.
Okay.
And this is one I actually just learned. So, and it's, can I use reviews from other sites? So the interesting thing that I learned in researching this is that if somebody were to post a review for you, Google, Facebook, Yelp, I don't really utilize Yelp, but Yelp is one of them, House, those kind of places, you can't just go and copy and paste it and use that necessarily on your website, because it is, let's see, let me read the,
I did not know that.
many of those sites in their clause, they have a clause in their terms of use that is user generated content is owned by the user and licensed by the website it's posted on.
So Google review, you send your client a Google review link for your Google My Business listing, which is what a lot of us recommend to people, right? Send them a Google link, or
absolutely.
So they do it directly onto Google. You can't technically, without
Now, I don't know which sites have that. I did not dig that deep into it. And I honestly don't think Google or Facebook are really going to care if you utilize that. What I say to protect yourself is email your client and say, thanks so much for this review. Do you mind if I use it on my website?
As well. Okay.
As well. So just get permission to use it on your website as well when they post that information out there on those reviews. I've heard rumor in some of the stuff, and I didn't dig deep, that Yelp was one of those that would say, that's our content, you can't utilize it. I don't really know how true that is, like I said, but you want to be careful before you pull stuff off of somebody else's website, even if it's talking about you.
Yeah, this is so interesting. I never even thought of that. If someone gives me a review anywhere, we copy, paste it, and use it everywhere.
Oh, yeah, I've done the same thing, because why not get the most out of those reviews? They willingly gave me that information to support my business.
Right.
So I've done it too. But you just, to say, I mean, like, I'm not a legal advisor, but I would say if you've got a written consent from them to say, through email to use it, I think you should be covered.
All right. Err on the side of caution.
Err on the side of caution. And I myself know that I've gone and given the same testimonial in Facebook and Google. And like, I just copy and paste it in all the places because I mean the same thing. So.
Right. They gave it to you. So you feel like, well, I should be able to use it everywhere. But doesn't hurt to just ask, thank you for that Google review or Yelp review or House review or wherever you're getting your reviews. Would it be okay if we also pulled it off of there and used it on our other marketing materials, website and social media, etc.? And they can answer yes. And then you have that for proof.
Yes.
Okay. Because I doubt like anyone's coming after small businesses for this thing, but err on the side of caution is always better.
Well, and if that becomes standard practice as you and your business grow, if you become big enough that then they want to come after you, you don't have to worry.
Oh my God.
You don't have to do the scramble cleanup that we've all been a part of at one point in time. It's already part of standard practice. And you can be like, well, of course I have permission. Here it is. And then you move on with your day and let them have their tantrum. So.
Okay. I love it. All right. If you guys are watching coming on later, go back to the beginning, because Teresa just gave 7 really great tips on getting testimonials and utilizing them properly on your website and in other places. And I want to ask you one other thing. That there was 2 things that came to mind. One's already gone. So now I have one left. What used to be a standard practice, and I haven't looked at this for my new website that we're rolling out in the next week. So everybody watch for my new website coming out over the next week. But with the testimonials, you can also bold one part of it, right? So if someone gives you 5 or 6 sentences, but there's one sentence that really you want to emphasize and help people who are skimmers, not readers, people who just skim.
Yep.
You want something to pop out at them. You can bold a couple of words
Absolutely.
in each. Did we do that on mine?
Well, we did. We did do that in some places. And because we shortened a lot of the testimonials, we're not bolding things as much as we did. But that goes back to that clarity and relevance, that minor editing. So using bold or italics or underline or even a different color, depending on what fits well into your design. Bold's the easy one that I think jumps out. Absolutely go in and bold those key words, those really amazing phrases
Yeah.
that are part of that testimonial to help them stand out. Mhm.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Teresa also wrote a blog about this. It is below or above, whichever platform you're watching, because I'm streaming on 5 different platforms at this point. And click on that link. You'll get all these details if you missed some of it or you couldn't take some notes. And certainly reach out to Teresa if you need a website audit, if you want to discuss your website, the issues you feel like you might be having. Because if one person's going to tell you, yes, you're having issues, or no, you're not, it's fine. It's going to be Teresa. She's going to be like, you're fine. Like, you don't need me. Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Honesty and integrity, those are key in a web designer. So, all right, Teresa, thank you so much. And we will see you next month. I don't think we have a topic yet, right? For next month?
I do
Okay.
actually. We're going to be talking about website security next month. So it's going to be, try not to make it boring. I'm going to try not to make it boring. We'll find a way to make it fun, but it is an important topic because you've got to protect. You have so much, whether you built it yourself or you had somebody else build your website, you have a lot invested, time, money, tears probably invested in this website. You've got to protect it. And so I'm going to give you some really stellar tips next month that we're going to help you do so.
Awesome. It's so sad when somebody's website gets hacked and there were things they could have done to prevent it. So yeah, guys,
And I've
listen
seen
to
it
next
happen
month.
too many times.
Yeah, way too many times. So, all right. Thank you, Teresa. I will see you next month. Everyone else, I will see possibly tomorrow. I think I have my Thursday thoughts tomorrow. Got to figure out what those are. All right, everyone, go have a great Wednesday, and we'll see you next time.
Bye everyone.